Hey, hey, hey! Can you hear that bagpipe? I'm sorry, I went into the middle of the woods hoping that I would drown out the bagpipe, but apparently the bagpipe infiltrates tree branches, so. In my last video, I let you guys follow along with the forest scene that I was painting, and I loved it, and I love that you loved it. I thought, again, I would bring you guys into the forest for no reason at all, because I thought I would bring you into how I would paint a pattern. Yes, a pattern. Total transparency, I have never done this before. So you're gonna see me make a lot of mistakes. But we learn from our mistakes, right? Because that's totally normal. Ah! There's a bee. There's a big, big, big bee. Let's see how I do. So you might be wondering why I did my intro video in a forest. And I just thought it would suit this pattern, because this pattern is actually a Venus flytrap, which, no, it does not grow wild in my forests, but it's a plant, and plants are plants, so don't argue with me on that. Anyway, as with all compositions, you start out with a sketch, so that's all I'm doing here is I'm deciding on what forms I want to use, what composition, how I want your eye to travel around, and like I've never really done a pattern before, so I'm kind of just experimenting. I don't know how it's going to look once it's tiled up and repeating with itself, so fingers crossed, it looks okay, which, spoiler, it does, so there you go. And the next step after I've done the sketch is I'm going to block in my shapes. So I've blocked in the vines, I've blocked in the flowers, and I've blocked in the carnivorous leaves with the teeth. And then what I do from there is I'm just going to slowly, over the course of time, add layers and layers of detail. So what you see here, this is like the preliminary layer of detail. Like this is the shape, this is a little bit of color, a little bit of form, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to complicate it as much as I possibly can to make it look more interesting, more intricate, more original, and just something that I'm proud of. And again, remember, I've never tackled something like this before, so I do make a lot of errors, and if you're someone who does patterns, don't judge me on this. I'm learning as I'm going, and that's fine with me. Like, find a way that works for you and just do what works for you. So for me, this is kind of like a blend of my painting style with whatever it is I'm doing to make a pattern. So in the end, this is what I ended up with. I think it's pretty cool. Interesting shapes all around. So in order to make this into a pattern, I've pasted it into a brand new layer, and then I'm going to do edit in, this is Photoshop by the way, edit, and then define pattern. And then once you define pattern, you can name it whatever you want to name it. And then you get to go about doing the exciting thing, which is actually making it into this awesome pattern. So yes, this is one single image, but what I'm going to do next is I'm going to make a new file, like infinitely huger than this one, because obviously we're going to have multiples of this in one image. And then you're just going to use the fill command, hit pattern, choose that pattern that you just made, and voila. Like, that looks cool. I think it looks like a garden of Venus flytraps. I think that is so pretty. Ugh, I love it. So cool. And that's it. That's it. Gotta admit, I was pretty pleased with that. Like, you don't expect it to look cool, but then you put it all together and then it looks cool. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did, please hit that like button, that little thumbs up button down below. If you're new here, then feel free to subscribe and we can chill every week when I release a new video on YouTube. And the bagpipe is back. I think the mosquitoes are finally deciding to bite me, so I'm gonna go.